Testing, testing, testing. All right. Welcome everyone, or anyone that's here. Ivan and I have been doing some testing. We're trying to make sure everything is running. Looks like everything is a go. I'll give it a few minutes to let people get in the room. Everything is looking good on my end though. Alright, this is Tuesday, September 16th. If you're watching us right now at 12 noon Central Time, you're watching us live. We had to do a little testing. We're going to be doing some experimenting. We are only going to be live on YouTube at this point today. The Facebook video will be uploaded to Facebook afterwards, but we're actually only going to be live on YouTube. The only problem is I'm not showing anybody in the live chat. I don't know if you're listening, Ayman, but I'm not seeing anyone in the live chat. Not sure if I should continue or not. Testing, testing, testing. Maybe if my wife is listening, you could let me know. I'm going to run some social media links. Please follow us on YouTube. Benny Russell. Okay, thank you, Benny. I needed to know that that was working. So I appreciate you typing in there. Like I was saying earlier, we are actually only live on YouTube today. We're doing some experimenting. That may be the way that we do it from now on. So anybody from Facebook that is or anybody that flips back and forth, we're only going to be live on Facebook. Now the video will be on Facebook also. You can still watch the video on Facebook, but it's just not going to be live on Facebook. We're going to try to only go live on YouTube. Kerosene cucumbers. What's up, kerosene cucumbers? Thank you for joining us. This is September 16th, 12 noon Central Time, Taco Tuesday. We're going to talk about some golf carts, like we always do. Everything is fine. I know that there was some confusion because there were some notifications sent out. Everything is fine. We're just trying to use some more features, and we're going to go live only on one platform. But people who like to watch the video on Facebook afterwards, you're still going to be able to do that. Everything will be fine. We're just not live over there. But we are live on YouTube. Where's my crew at? Kurt, are you out there? Let me go ahead and get started with the regular questions then. Here we go. Question number one. Question number one is from Carol. My cart's a 2013 Club Car Precedent, bought used a few years ago. Batteries are 2017. I'm sure it's time to replace them. If they're 2017, yeah, it's definitely time to replace them. Charger's also at least that old. How do I determine whether my issues are caused created by the batteries or the charger? Issue: loss of power, speed, etc. Charge not lasting long. Well, let's take that one question at a time, Carol. Let's see. On that particular car, 2013, if it is an OBC car, see, that's going to be the difficult thing, because that is the year that they quit using OBC. But so your car may or may not have an OBC. But normal operation would be that your charger comes on when you plug it in. Maybe a delay, and then it may be a delay before the charger comes on. But yeah, the best thing to do to eliminate your batteries in your case would probably be to have a discharge test done on your battery pack. Benny Russell, too bad it's not hat day. My chances would be greater today. Yeah, I don't really understand why there's not very many people in the room, Benny. I'm not really sure, but you are correct. Charger is at least that old. How to determine issues are caused or created by a battery? Loss of power, speed, etc. Charge is not lasting long. Everything that you're saying there, Carol, does sound like it is your batteries. Now, if you know how to use a voltmeter, you can probably determine if it's your batteries or not by putting a voltmeter on your battery pack and checking it out as you drive. And when you start to lose power, you should start to lose voltage in that voltmeter. When you start to lose speed or anything like that, or right at when you say your charge is not lasting long, at that point, put a voltmeter on your batteries and see what you're getting on your whole pack. If it's below 48 volts, then that's definitely your problem. Mike, MI6, Irvin, I'm here. All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. So I guess everything is working. I was worried it wasn't working there for a minute, but I guess it is. Number 2 is from Marvin. Hello, I need a suggestion. I have an electric club car. I just put a gas engine in it. But now, how tight or how much play should the drive belt have? Please help a disabled vet. Well, I don't know what you did, with your fabrication or anything like that, Marvin. I mean, that's a heck of a job. Lots of things had to be modified in order to do that. All I can tell you is the drive belt on a normal golf cart, all right, if on a normal golf cart with a driven clutch and a driven clutch in the rear and a drive clutch that's connected to the motor, it has enough slack in it to where you can remove it with no tools. In other words, you can just roll it off with your hands. You can roll it off of the rear driven clutch and roll that clutch and take the belt off with no tools. So in other words, if you can't do that, it's probably too tight, is what I'm saying. But I don't know, how much play you have. So that's about the only thing I can say about that. Not being there, being involved in your fabrication that you did to convert it. That was number 2. Number 3. Number 3 is from Wayne. I recently bought a 2009 Precedent Club Car golf cart. It has brand new Trojans in it. I live in a cold winter country, but escaped to Arizona about mid-October and don't return until mid-May. My question to you is, what is the proper way to store my cart in my unheated garage during those winter months when I am gone? Do I leave it plugged in, unplugged, or what? Would appreciate any expert advice you could give me. Thanks in advance. From Wayne, 2009 Precedent. All right. Since that car is a 2009 Precedent, that means it's before 2013. That means it does have an OBC, okay, an onboard computer. a lot of people think that the only thing that the onboard computer does is tells your charger to come on, tells your charger what to do. In other words, it tells your charger to come on and tells your charger to shut off. That's not all it does. It does a lot of things. It does a lot of stuff that is not really relevant to a personal owner of a golf cart. It's relevant to a golf course though. And one of the things that it does do, this way back in the service manual that a lot of people don't even realize, is that after about, if you leave that car plugged in, like you leave it plugged in and you go away for a long time, as long as your electricity doesn't blink or go off, then it's going to charge your cart and shut off, even though your car's still plugged in. And then after 14 days, it comes back on. It's going to come back on and charge your batteries after about 14 days. A lot of people don't realize that. I get that all the time, that people didn't realize that. It's not really written right at the front of the service manual or the owner's manual on a club car before 2013, club car with an OBC, but it's there. If you look deep enough, you'll find it. So my point is that what you need to do is you just need to come up with a plan to keep your car fully charged all the time. All right. You either need somebody to go over there and check it and make sure everything is running properly, or take your chances and do what I said, leave that plugged in, and it should recharge your battery pack, so it should be fine. Now, a Lester Summit 2 that we sell here at Golf Cart Garage has a very similar feature. It has a storage mode function. Lester Summit 2 will do the same thing. So there's a couple of ways you could do it with just a charger, is what I'm saying, other than you having to be there or getting somebody to come over there and unplug it and plug it back in. Your charger should take care of it if everything is working normally. But like I said, electricity blink can mess that one up. On a Lester Summit 2, I don't think the electricity blink will mess it up. So that's a good way to go there too. Number 4. Number 4 is from JP. My rear suspension is squeaky. Your thoughts? My car is an E-Z-GO TXT 2016. This is what I do, with squeaky suspension. I've run across this a lot. I probably said it on here before. You can walk up to your golf cart and grab the roof struts, and you can shake it back and forth. You can push it back and forth. It's working now. Reloaded. Gene Hansen, is this working now? Reloaded. Gene, yes, I got you, Gene. I don't know what happened. I don't understand why there's not more people in the room. So something still may be off a little bit. But is everything looking normal and sounding normal? And because we did make some changes, we're trying to iron out the bugs, Anyway, what I was saying is that you can shake it and make the golf cart squeak. And of course, first you try to isolate where the sound is coming from to see what it is that may need attention. But if you will take one side at a time, because see, there's some bushings in your leaf springs. There's some bushings. Most likely that could be where your squeak is coming from. But if you'll take a water hose and you'll squirt that bushing and see if it goes away, and then squirt that one leaf spring. Don't squirt your whole cart. Just squirt in an isolated area with water, and that water will act as a temporary lubricant. And if you can make that squeak go away, just take note of where you were at, and that's the area you need to. That's the way I always isolate where a squeak is coming from. It helps. I got a fly. Came up first. Yeah, that's what I noticed when we were doing the testing. There was more people, so I don't know if that screwed things up or not, because I'm not even having my regular people in here right now. So you're saying they probably needed to back out and reload the whole thing? Yeah, I knew those notifications were being sent out earlier. We probably shouldn't do that. Need to figure out a way to do testing. Bruce, can you see me now? Yes, I got you, Bruce. Yeah. Joe Foster, hello everyone from North Carolina. Thank you, Joe, for dropping in. Yeah, I probably should have gave it a little more time. Don't really understand why it did that though, because seems like I gave it plenty of time. But anyway, thank you guys for bearing with me. Bart Gilman, you're usually over on Facebook. I don't know if you heard me. Good morning, Tim. Getting hot in Northern California. We are only live on YouTube today, and probably is going to stay that way. We're probably only going to go live on YouTube, but you will still be able to watch the video after the fact on Facebook. So it's just not going to be live on Facebook, but it will immediately be on Facebook, you know, after we do live. We're experimenting with only going live on YouTube is basically it. Bruce, I just reloaded it as it seems you weren't seeing anything on here. Yes, well, I wasn't. I didn't see anything. So you're saying that there was stuff on here? I wasn't seeing it. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there actually was people. I just didn't see them. Joe Foster, well, after the test, had to click on the live. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm sorry about all that, guys. I screwed everything up, but hopefully next time it won't be that way. We won't have to do the testing beforehand, and I'll just start and everything will be fine. If this ends up working, then we know exactly what we have to do. Everyone was saying things and no one was getting through. Joe Foster, no problem. All right. Okay, well, I'm glad it seems to be working now. I just hope some of my regular guys that aren't in here can figure out what to do. Kurt, you there, Kurt? I know you were here earlier when we were doing the testing, but okay, number 5 is where we're at. This is from Jeff. I have a Yamaha G16A. I've installed a light kit on it and have a reoccurring issue. My lights flicker at 3/4 throttle. I measured voltage from the battery at idle and I get 12 to 13 volts. And at full throttle, I'm at 15 to 16. I replaced the voltage regulator thinking it wasn't regulating the voltage down, but a brand new one still causes the issue. I have tried hardwiring it. Nothing seems to work. I've come to the conclusion it's probably the starter generator, but before putting out money to rebuild it, I figured I'd ask on here. The flickering is caused by an overvoltage, but I'm not sure how I want to tackle the situation. This is what I would say. You could be absolutely correct there, Jeff, that your situation could be caused by an overvoltage, because you're going to 15 to 16. Depending on that light kit, that very well could cause that light kit a problem. Yeah, it's you know, lights want to see about 12 to 14, but if you're a good bit over that. Now, if you did, my first question would be, you did replace the voltage regulator, because that would have been the first thing I would have wanted to do. Where did you get that voltage regulator from? The one that you replaced? Was it one of those real inexpensive ones off of Amazon? Would be my first question, because I talk to people all the time and I hear horror stories about some of that real inexpensive stuff from Amazon, especially things like, especially electronic parts like voltage regulators. Number 6. I don't want to say it's not hat day, Joe, because everybody leaves the room. So I'm not going to say whether it's hat day or not. That's kind of a spur of the moment thing. Number 6. This is from Peter T. Can you please tell me why when I hook my charger up to my 2008 President, the low battery light under the steering column flickers, just like the old street light at dusk before it turns on, but my battery light just flickers like the whole time? Also, what do the numbers on the charger mean? It starts at 15 when I hook it up and then slowly goes down. I always wanted to know. Alright, Peter T. Let's talk about normal operation for the charging system on a 2008 Precedent. Okay, normal operation would be this. Your charger is plugged into the wall already. Alright? You take your charger plug, you plug it into the cart. You watch your charger. There should be a slight delay. It should be a delay of a few seconds. Boom, then the charger comes on, needle goes way over to the right, and because your car has an OBC, it very well may shut completely back off and then go back on again. It may do that depending on which OBC you have in there. Now, the bottom line is, after that point, it will slowly drop throughout the day and the night until it gets down close to zero. It'll stay around close to zero, sometimes for a couple of hours or so, and then boom, it will eventually shut completely off. What it's doing at that point is watching the voltage in your batteries rise. As that needle is coming down your charger, the voltage in your battery is rising. When it gets down to close to zero, the voltage in your battery is going to be at its highest point. A 48-volt golf cart like yours could be up to 60 volts in that pack, or even a little more, before the charger decides to shut off and that your car is fully charged. So if it's not doing that, then something is wrong. You don't have normal operation. So my first question would be, does your charger shut off normally? Does it shut off by itself? If it's shutting off, everything's probably fine. Bruce, 98 EasyGo DCS that beeps when you switch it out of tow and will stop if you hit the throttle. I'm confused. That's not normal, Bruce, but it should not do that. When you switch it out of tow and will stop if you hit the throttle. No, something's wrong there. But what controller do you have, Bruce? Is it stock? And I'm sure you know what I'm going to say because I know you're a regular here, and I'm sure that if you are, you've heard me talk about DCS controllers before. All right, so it's the stock Curtis. Well, I can tell you this, Bruce. If you don't know what I'm going to say, you probably do. All DCS, all EasyGo DCS cars need a new controller. All of them, in my opinion. That's coming from somebody who worked on, for many years, had my own golf cart shop and worked on many, many golf carts, especially during that year range that you have going on there. 98s, I had 98s to 2010s all the time, and I was getting controllers rebuilt from Flight Systems on a monthly deal. Every month I would send all my controllers to Flight Systems and have them all rebuilt, and I'd get the box back. I'd wait till I had like 10 controllers or something to get rebuilt. And the most common controller in that box was a stock EasyGo DCS controller, and they're actually hard to find now because of that. Because so many people have just used them as cores, and they're not very easy to come by. So it's very likely that you have a controller issue, is what I'm saying. I think PDS cars even need a new controller, but DCS cars really need a new controller. Is yours completely stock? I'm talking about the tire height. Do you roll in on regular tire height? It's the same thing. When I put it in, so it's something else. That's why I'm lost. Were you taking it out of tow? Well, okay, stock all the way around. Well, on a DCS car, your forward and reverse deal, your lever that you switch back and forth, on the back side underneath the seat, it's got those two little bitty micros on that thing. You might ought to check them. Your reverse one might be stuck, and that would explain when you come out of tow, it starts beeping because it thinks it's in reverse because that little micro switch is stuck. That'd be one of the things I would check also. You got those two little bitty micro switches on that silver wheel, and if you're taking it out of tow into run and it starts beeping, I would think that could possibly be it. Both are working. Okay, both are working. I've checked them. Okay, so you've checked those. Well, for some reason you're getting the... See, that car doesn't... A DCS doesn't even have diagnostic mode. Like... Well, I think the reverse buzzer is a beep, 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 isn't it? I don't think it's a steady tone in that car. It could very well be a beep, beep, beep. That could be the reverse buzzer. Because, like I said, a DCS doesn't have diagnostic mode like a PDS does. So any beep that comes out of that should be because it's getting a reverse signal, is what I'm thinking on a DCS. Ricky Smith, wow, finally got on. Hi, Tim. What's up, Ricky? Sorry, man, we were doing some testing, and I think that confused the algorithm before we actually went live. But we always go live at 12 noon Central Time. We were doing some testing before 12 noon, and I think it may have caused some issues with people getting in here. I still don't have everybody that's usually in here. Number 7. This is from Gene. Is that right, guys? That may explain it. That I have two different lives going. So we have well, they're not both live. I mean, this is the only one that's live. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was odd because I didn't have everybody in the room that I was thinking of. Same video on both live shows. Well, we're going to keep going, guys, but that's not the way that it's supposed to be, so we'll have to figure that one out. Apparently, we don't have all the bugs worked out yet. Well, thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate it. Well, I don't know if Ayman is watching or not, but we'll have to figure that one out, or he'll have to figure out a way to clean that up. I have a 96 club car, DS gas, with an intermittent problem. Sometimes it will run all day, then all of a sudden it will not start. It can happen as you're driving or if you hop on it and try to go. Yeah, everyone, if anybody's listening to and you're in the wrong live, which I'm not sure how that happened, you need to join the Grease Spindles live so you can get involved in the chat, because that's the only chat I can see is the one that I'm talking about there. Well, Aaron said it's the same video. The motor spins over fine, then as soon as it stops it will go again, normally 20 feet at a time, or it can suddenly snap out of it. It usually seems to happen after the car is warmed up. I've changed plugs. I've checked for spark by taking the plug out and grounding it to the head. It appears to be an intermittent spark problem. Is there a spark sometimes and not others? If it's happening, Gene, when after the cart gets warmed up, it's probably happening after the cart gets hot, and that means you got something that's getting hot, and even on a gas cart, when electronic components get too hot, it could cause a problem. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Well, hopefully that won't happen next time. Ra'aya, Ra'amya, is that would be Ra'amya Edwards. My E-Z-GO TXT cart slows, stops completely, put in reverse and go forward again. Suspecting that is the speed sensor. Is that accurate? 2002 video started half an hour ago. Helpless Garage. Okay, now I'm on the correct live feed. That is correct. Helpless Garage. By the way, Helpless Garage, are you moving? Or because I saw something on Facebook. Are you actually leaving Arkansas? That's what I thought I saw. Okay, let me go back to Ra'amya Edwards. Do this test, Ra'amya Edwards, just to narrow down the speed sensor issue. Have just go up behind your car and start pushing it. Try to push it forward. You know, just see if you can push it forward. And if you're pushing it forward and you're able to push it forward easily and it just freewheels and rolls, then it's very likely that you could have a speed sensor problem. If it electrically holds you back and like the buzzer starts beeping, it goes beep, 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 but it's also holding you back, you can feel it holding you back like a brake is on, then that would be normal on your car. But if you can freewheel, that's a simple test for a speed sensor. It's not always that easy, but that's a kind of a shortcut that a lot of people use to recognize a speed sensor issue. Normally, a speed sensor issue would be that you get on the golf cart and you take off, you push the gas pedal or the accelerator pedal, and it'll take off real fast like everything is fine, go for a few yards, and then boom, drop down to a crawl. Even though your foot's still on the accelerator pedal, it'll drop down to a crawl. Still go forward, but drop down to a crawl. So if that's what your car is doing, it's very likely a speed sensor. Grease Symbols episode 60 and 61 is current. Keith says, I guess I was on the wrong feed. Well, what was going on the other feed? Was that last week's video? Helpless says, no, that's a goofy thing that Facebook did to me. I'm still here. Okay, I was wondering. It said you were moving to Southern California or something like that. Can Tim see us now? Dan Austin. I sure can, Dan. I can see you. You were there. Ramaya Edwards, will do. Thank you. That's exactly what it's doing. Well, it's very likely, if that's what it's doing, it's very likely that that's a speed sensor issue. Yeah, we are definitely live here right now, fellas. This is Tuesday, September the 16th, 12:33 p.m. Central Time. I'm in Central Daylight Time right now. So this is definitely the live feed for September 16th. Both titles have the same live feed. All right, we'll get that cleaned up. We had to start testing for a few times, and Ayman had to delete some stuff, so it's very likely that that we got something wrong there. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell with all the caps. David Irwin, yes, you are. You are here. Well, I'm glad you found us, man. I'm sorry about that. It's our fault, the Golf Cart Garage, because we didn't anticipate what's going on right now, but I'm glad you found the correct feed. Back to Gene's question. One of the things that gets hot and can cause a lot of problems on a 96 Club Car DS gas with an intermittent issue is going to be the RPM limiter. And it's because of the location of the RPM limiter. They for some reason, Club Car decided to put the RPM limiter real low on the front of the motor, literally up against the case, up against where the oil is. I mean, that's probably one of the hottest places on the motor except for the exhaust system. And for some reason they put an electronic component right there. It gets very hot. They could have easily put it on the wall somewhere away from the engine and just ran some wires over to the connections, but they chose to put it on the side of the motor, which I never really understood, and that can cause a lot of problems. So that's very likely a candidate after it gets real hot. That can affect your spark. It can affect how your car runs. It can affect a lot of things. Number 8. This is from Sean D. Hi Tim, do you have an idea of a street legal golf cart insurance policy in Florida? Any idea on cost or company that sells an LSV type policy? Well, if I had everyone in the room, I'm sure that I could get that question answered, because I have several people that are in Florida normally, but because of the mix-up today with the 2 lives, I probably have lost some of them. But the bottom line is that anything like that having to do with street legal golf cart, you're going to have to check with your local DMV, because they're going to have a policy for it, especially in Florida. I mean, they've got they've got it all worked out there, because there's so many golf carts in so many different communities in Florida. You just need to check with them, ask them what all do they need, because each county could be different from one place to another. Number 8, that was it. Anybody in here in this feed in Florida? Does anyone here know about that? The golf cart insurance policy for Florida, or is it basically you need to check with your local DMV because it's different in lots of places? I know I normally have Florida people, but I'm not sure about today because of the mix-up. I'll shut that one down. Number 9. This is from Fred. I have a 93 Yamaha gas golf cart, and I want to change the motor out with a much larger motorcycle engine and transmission. Are there any detailed instructions for this conversion? Absolutely not, Fred. Absolutely not. Now, there are many people that have done it, but they didn't have instructions with a much larger motorcycle engine. There's not a conversion kit for that. Now, there are conversion kits out there for like a V-twin Honda clone, or a Honda motor, or a bigger 16 horsepower, 32 horsepower. I mean, there are conversion kits like that. I've seen that from companies like Vegas Carts and now, Ramaya Edwards, the questions that I'm getting these from are actually just regularly scheduled questions. Okay, David says he's in Florida. I knew I had Florida people. I just wasn't sure if I had any in the room right now. David has American Modern INC. I have full coverage, and it's $65 a year. Now, see, that's not bad at all. See, I bet it's not like that everywhere, though, huh, David? That sounds very reasonable to me. $65 a year. I don't think there would be anybody that would complain about that. But you're telling, I mean, there's no way that it's that cheap, like in the villages or something, huh? It would have to be more than that, I would think. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I had 2 questions backwards there, but I got it now. Number 10. Number 10 is from Charlie. Single pack 48 volt lithium conversion with built-in BMS. Upgraded to HD 400 amp solenoid. Cart runs fine at 75% throttle, but when it's pressed to full throttle, it will lose power and cut off. Could it be the controller? All right, Charlie, I would have questions. I would have questions about your cart. Is this a lifted car with taller tires? I'd have questions about the size of your new lithium pack. Is it how many amp hour? How many amp hours your lithium pack? Because what you're describing sounds like that if it's running fine at 75, but when it's pressed full throttle, it loses power and cuts off. Sounds kind of like your BMS may be shutting you down. And the only reason that your BMS would shut you down would either be that something's faulty, the number be number one, but another reason that the BMS would shut you down is if you're putting too much of a strain on that lithium. And the more gas you give it, or the more accelerator that you give it, the more strain you're putting on it. So could be that too. Could be your BMS shutting you down. So that's why I'd have questions. Is your battery big enough for your application? Because we've talked about that on here many times. They make 60 amp hour lithium packs, 60 amp hour. To me, that would only be recommended for a completely stock golf cart with the 18-inch tires that's used on a golf course as a replacement battery for their lead acid pack, and the cart still be used for what it was intended to be used for. That's the only time that I would recommend a 60 amp hour pack. If you ever plan to do any modifications to your cart in the future, if you ever plan to do a lift kit, taller tires, if you ever plan to do any performance upgrades, I wouldn't recommend that 60. I'd jump it up to like 100 or 105, or the next bigger one that you can get. Because what happens is those lithium are way better than lead acid at resisting voltage drop, but the lower the amp hour, the more they're going to be susceptible to voltage drop, and therefore the BMS senses that you're killing it, and it'll shut you down as a safety feature. Joe Foster says insurance in North Carolina costs more than that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That seemed very reasonable. Ricky Smith in North Carolina, it's 105. That's 105 for a year? $105 for a year for full coverage? That's not very much at all. It doesn't sound like. I actually should know what it is here, because I actually live in a huge golf course community, and there's lots of street legal cars, but only inside the community, inside the gates. I'm outside the gates, but there's a huge golf cart gated community here in the town I live in, but I'm not inside the gates. I'm outside. David Irwin said he bundled all of his toys. Okay, yeah, they do that bundling thing, and it causes it price to be better. I see. Oh, that's cool. I wish Big Mike was in here, because I have one of his pictures he sent me queued up. We'll go ahead and show it. If he watches the replay, he'll see that I showed it. So let's see some pictures. Ready? 1, 2, 3, bam. Let's see some pictures. I like that little graphic. All right. Big Mike sent me, where did it go? There it is. He said this was just in a parking lot somewhere where he was at. He's in Indiana. I know some of you guys in Florida, y'all probably see stuff like this all the time, but because y'all have so many golf carts and so many people modifying and doing crazy stuff to golf carts, but this is what Big Mike sent me that he saw in a parking lot. Check that out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You get somebody that is good with a welder, and they're going to do this to a golf cart. They're going to do it to some kind of vehicle. They're going to do this to a lawnmower or a golf cart or a bicycle or something. They learned how to weld, and this is what they just have to do stuff like this. It would actually be easy to work on. And you know what's funny? That's a G1. That's a Yamaha G1 up there. I can tell. Well, it used to be. That's a G1 top half with a whole different bottom half. Yeah, it's not very practical, is it, Aaron? You give somebody some welding skills and they're going to do something like that. Yeah, that's definitely a hold my beer and watch me roll over. Yeah. That needs to be governed down to about 2 miles an hour at the most. You know what they need on this golf cart in the picture, Aaron? They need that 4-passenger kit that you sent me. That's what they need. They need a big old 4-passenger kit that sticks way out here, that sticks out, you know, about 3 or 4 feet past the rear of the cart, with it lifted like that. That's what they need. I mean, if they really want to get into the danger zone. I want to put a bigger motor in my gas club car. What would you suggest? David Irwin. Check into a Vegas carts conversion there, David. I've seen a lot of people that have had success with those, and the reason is because they change out your whole cradle. See, not all engines will just fit in the cradle that you have, and the ones that do probably won't have any more power than the ones that you got in there. So if you want more power, then you can go to a twin cylinder, and Vegas Carts has a complete conversion where they actually you pay for the motor and the cradle. You know, your whole gas situation comes out, and it's a whole different set of clutches and everything. So that would be the only way that I would do anything to a gas golf cart. Okay. Can't wait to see what shows up at the Madison, Indiana Golf Cart Poker Run in October. Madison, Indiana Golf Cart Poker Run. Do I need to go to that? Let me write that down. Madison, Indiana. Poker Run. My wife and I have been talking about taking a trip and getting a better portable internet thing so I could actually still work from the road. Sir Walter, crazy question. Is this gas or battery cart? You know, he did not tell me in his email. But I can recognize that's a G1 up on top. And I'm not sure what this is down here. I'm going to say that that's electric. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that that's an electric motor that he's got hooked to some type of drive shaft and a regular differential, and the drive shaft is turning those rear wheels. That's what I'm going to say. But that's just a guess on my part. I don't know because he did not tell me in the email. October 4th. Let me write that down. Kurt, finally found the right feed. Man, I'm sorry, Kurt. Yeah. I knew you were here earlier when we were doing some testing, but so I didn't know what was wrong, but apparently the guys figured it out. Everybody figured out there was 2 feeds going, and probably still are, I'm not sure. But we'll get that right for next time. Sorry about all that. I know that confused. Bart says, it looks like the people on the other live feed, 261, it looks like you can't see their comments. Well, that might be true. I'm just afraid to click on anything here because I don't want to mess anything up, but we'll get it figured out. Thank you, Bart, though, for telling me that. I'll pass that on to Ayman and see if he can figure that out. Because you're right, I cannot see their comments. All right, let me take down Big Mike's picture. Where are we at here? Okay, last question was about the BMS, sounding like the BMS was shutting Charlie's deal down. Yeah, the 400 amp solenoid is not going to have anything to do with it. If it was working fine before the lithium conversion, then I know your throttle input is fine. So the fact that it jumps, it goes out between 75% throttle and 100, that's starting to make me think about load is causing a problem. And a lot of times too much load can cause the BMS to shut you down. Well, that's some cart. Yep. Helpless, is your ring color coordinated today? It is. It is, Helpless. Long ladder to get into it. I'll show you. My ring is actually camo. So, but it's, you know, green camo. So I'm still color coordinated with my green hat and my green shirt. So yeah. All right. I ran the social media links earlier. I ran the, let's see, here's my email. If you want to send me some pictures, like similar pictures like what Big Mike had sent, there's my email. Send me some pictures to 00timfreeman@gmail.com, and I will get them queued up and we'll feature them on here. The more bizarre, the better. If you'd like to buy a hat from Golf Cart Garage, you can. There's the hats. There's some. I think there's some links in the description. I know there used to be to take you right to them. We give away hats on this channel occasionally. It's kind of a spur of the moment thing. Whenever my wife has time to help me, and I try not to announce it in advance anymore. I try to do it just on the spur of the moment. But because of everything that happened today to me is not a very good day to do it because I don't have everybody. Everybody wouldn't have a chance. I know that you guys think about it differently. You think about you'd have more of a chance because there's probably less people in the room. But I want everybody to have a chance. So, all right. So hat graphic. Here's the contact information at Golf Cart Garage. This is the main email address for support@golfcartgarage.com. You can put attention Tim on that if you need to, or if you just need to ask a question to someone about parts, you know, you could send an email to that address. But if you needed some technical assistance, you could put attention Tim, or you could just send an email directly to me to this one I said to send pictures to, 00timfreeman@gmail.com. Either way, but if you put attention Tim on that, though, they'll make sure I get it. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got eco hats and T-shirts. When we do give away a hat, that one we're out of that one, so I need to remove that one since we're out of it. There's the front of the t-shirt and the other Eco hat. Thumbs up needed more today than ever. That's true, Helpless. It is, because it was just a cluster, wasn't it? Let me, that's the coupon. This is the active coupon. I think it's still active. We'll find out here in a second. Need to fix that coupon up too. Use the coupon code GHOD8, the number 8, and that expires September the 30th, 2025 for 5% off any parts you order. Use the code GHOD8 at checkout. September 30th expiration. We'll get a new code at that time, but that is an active code right now. Close that. If you're thinking about going lithium, give us a shot. You know, I know everybody's going to shop around and decide what's best for them, but at Golf Cart Garage we do sell Eco Lithium, which I have not heard any complaints. I can tell you that about the Eco Lithiums. I haven't heard anything bad, and we are discounting up to 10% off on Dakota Lithium. It was the last that I heard. And I didn't hear anything different on that, so you might want to check out Dakota Lithium also. Eco and Dakota, so go to golfcartgarage.com and check those out if you're thinking of going lithium. Now might be a good time. That looks like it's going to be about it, guys. Sorry about the beginning today. We will get that worked out. People on the other episodes, it looks like they can't see their comments, or like I can't see their comments. I got you. We'll get it fixed, guys, before next week. I appreciate everybody hanging in there today and searching around and trying to find me. All right, next time will be the title of this one was Squeaky Golf Cart. Actually, this is what this one was. I know there was two, and the other one was Grease and Spindles or something like that. This one was supposed to be Squeaky Golf Cart. Next time will be September 23rd that I see y'all. Tuesday, September 23rd. Just looking at my notes there. All right. I appreciate everybody stopping by. I will see y'all next week. The garage is now closed.